Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. How you talk to me like the first. I feel joy, I feel pain, I feel the same. When the night is long, I'll be alone.
DJ Sequence.
In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. 'Cause you talk to me like the first you. I feel joy, I feel pain, 'cause it's still the same. When the night is coming, I'll be alone. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. Another night, another dream, but always new. It's like a vision of love that seems to be true. Another night, another dream, but always new. In the night, I dream of love so true. In the night, in my dreams, I'm in love with you. How you talk to me like the first. I feel joy, I feel pain, 'cause it's still the same. When the night is long, I'll be alone.
Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me, a wonderful life. Look around and see the beauty of the sky. Here for you and me, a wonderful life.
Right, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. How's everyone doing? Are we winning? Can you hear my air conditioning unit? I'm hoping not. Good afternoon, good evening, quality music right there. Good morning to all jelly longers. Good morning. Good morning, Charlie from San Fran. Wow. Man is international now. Let's do it. AC full send. I'll turn it off for you all. Might hear a little beep and something. It's actually fucking freezing in my room. But my little office. Call it my room, but yeah, you know what I mean. Evening bro, 5x long now since the bottom, let's fucking go. Excellent. I mean, the question's always when you're going to take profits, what's your plan, you know? Not to be the negative person, because I'm not. But just make sure you don't fucking get the golden ticket and it's a round trip one, right? That's not the golden ticket we want in these conditions. Oof. We don't hear the AC at all. Excellent. Excellent. The microphone is actually not being a massive piece of shit today then. Cool. Right, so should we jump into things? So firstly, shout out to BonkBot for sponsoring the stream. Absolute legends. I can honestly say I've been playing around with the new features on BonkBot web version, and I actually love it. I am trenching. I'm not making like heinous amounts of money over there because I'm playing with reasonably small size for me. But as my confidence builds, and with some of the things they got coming, which I will be able to share with you probably next week, if not the week after, then I think we can start doing some fun stuff together, which will be pretty cool. Genuinely, I've really enjoyed trenching, and I'm a bit retarded at it, but like I caught diarrhea at like 100k market cap that ran to 3 million, and a couple of other things in the last few days that have all been, you know, I've had my losses as well, to be fair. You know, it's like 50-50 between wins and losses at the moment, which I think is actually pretty good for trenching. But yeah, there's been some absolute mental runners today, and I hope you've all kind of got on with the new narrative that who the fuck knows how long that's going to last. You know, the ICM, the whole internet capital markets stuff, which we can kind of cover a little bit. Planning to round trip to 10k, perfect. Excellent. But yeah, I will do a really rude shill of the ref link because why not? You know, I'm here. You're here. If you've got a a TG and you want to ape some low caps, we will be doing it live on stream, but probably not next week because I'm actually not here. It's my birthday and stuff. So, and then I think I'm going to be away the next week. Yeah, I'm away the next week in New York as well. So we might do a stream then, we might not, but we'll see. We'll kind of play the schedule a little bit fluidly, which is great, because every time I go on holiday, the market fucking rips, right? Not to be like self-centered about all this, but yeah, this was when I was in America. No, it wasn't. I tell a lie. This was when I was in America and couldn't be asked to download a VPN to close my short, which was from like 105. And yeah, then obviously it's just ripped. And then last stream we did this and went over a Bitcoin long scenario, and ever since it has literally been up only, and it has just pumped. I know Trump is basically saying that they need to cut interest rates, blah blah blah. The market as a whole has been absolutely wild for, you know, a few days now, like consistently just running. You know, if we look at like the memes, like that have taken the main kind of mind share, you've got the Mudang, you've got Peanut, you've got Bert, which I've been chilling the fuck out of. I love Bert. Bert's, you know, amazing. I have round tripped a massive bag on it when it did 200x in a day. But now, you know, everyone who sold or wanted to sell, I'm assuming, is out. And that is my biggest of like all of these three by an absolute country mile, because I don't own any Peanut. I actually bought a fuckload of Fred way back when, but that's a story for a different day. And Mudang, I longed this morning because you can actually see it here. We'll go over that setup, but yeah, I'm long Mudang right now, which is, you know, it was a really good setup this morning, like a combination of spaghetti and price action, but we'll kind of cover that off, obviously retrospectively, but whatever. HMRC calling, sir. Yeah, so I did all of this on a demo account, and I've never made money in crypto in my life, and obviously all of this is for educational purposes only. not financial advice. Hello SC. Everyone like and share the video. Cheers lads, smash the likes. Cheers Jesse, thank you all. Planning to round trip, it's 10k. What day's my birthday? Mine's the 17th. Oh, not quite mate, not quite. Close, but again, nice try. Try and dox me and do all that. But yeah, it's imminent. I'm Taurus, it's a bull, so I'll give you that much info. That's a later stream. Oh, excellent, excellent. Yeah, make sure you check that out as well, because SE makes things very, very simple to follow, and I learned a hell of a lot from him. So yeah, I mean, for me right now, Bitcoin just looks like it wants to fucking leg up, right? Like, if we take all of this shit off and we go, I sent this chart to a friend, and I said, like, he's like, oh, look, mate, what shall I do? Shall I sell all my stuff, or shall I be buying in? Shall I be piling in? Shall I be doing whatever? I said, like, Bitcoin, because he's very heavy. He's a Bitcoin maxi. He's held Bitcoin for fucking years. And he's like, well, you know, what I don't want to do is, like, come to these tops and, like, sell. Like, is now a good time to sell, is what he asked me. And I said, well, look, mate, like, if I were you, like, my invalidation at a worst case is, like, here, yeah? Like, you've literally got such great structure in terms of, like, even, like, just a meme diagonal. You've got momentum behind you. Like, TradFi is ripping and running. You know, dollar kind of recovered a bit, which is actually something good for somebody like me who is, you know, in GBP. So I actually want the dollar to be reasonably strong, not like ripping the arsehole out of risk on assets, but I don't want it to be as weak as it was, because when I was converting my dollars to pounds down here, it was a bit depressing. Not that I was, but you know, it was like, oh, $0.72 or some shit, and you're like, fuck me, that's a bit shit. But anyway, we digress. You know, market is risk on, market is ripping. Why, when the Bitcoin chart looks like this in a clear, very strong uptrend, you know, the way that it tends to move as well, and like, this is just markets in general, is it's the like trending move, consolidation, trending move, and that can be either way, right? Consolidation, however, right? And that's exactly what we're getting now. We've got consolidation, trending move, consolidation, trending move, consolidation. You know, where do I think this is going to go next? I mean, unless something major kicks off in terms of like international, you know, wars or some bollocks, like, I'm hoping that it just rips. It just goes higher. I don't know if, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a pullback. There's going to be something, you know, like a bit more ranging, maybe a bit of deviation down here, but that to me is like a massive risk on signal. If it deviates below and reclaims the range, we'll come on to a real live example of that, which we caught in the group earlier today, which is a fucking lovely rotation. And it was one of those ones where I looked over at the monitor, at the other monitor, and I was like, holy fuck, I love this feeling when the green candle just fucking slices through the order books. But anyway, we digress. You know, I personally just think if this was a 5-minute chart, you'd probably expect it to have a little bit of consolidation of fucking round, but the momentum that it's got, it's so strong. You know, it's only building. It's only building that momentum. Even sort of stock RSI is sort of starting to reset a bit. You know, we've had a bit of a consolidation. If you were thinking of like parabolic run-ups and moves, yeah, it's looking good. You know, that's what I said to him, was like, if you want to sell here, I'd much rather just take the punt. You know, I'd take the punt that it's going to break out at some point. Even if your trade sort of thesis is like this, you know, I wouldn't be selling unless we at least lost this little low time frame like range here. Now, obviously I didn't have all of this price action earlier, but point being, like, reclaim, off you go. Sort of this setup is just really simple, but it really is like simple conditions. And I'll go over Fartcoin, and some of you might have seen the Fartcoin video from all the like snippets in the Paragon. Like, I've been trading the shit out of Fartcoin, like absolute shit. And I posted something the other day that was, you know, like fucking short to zero just to piss people off and get a bit of engagement, to be honest. But you know, and it was also because I was long here as well, and then I just saw it stalling, and what I wanted was that big fuck you, you know, breakout that didn't happen. But anyway, back to Bitcoin. You know, I just don't see any major reason to be like turbo bearish on this, you know. especially with this reclaim. If we lose this and we go like that, yeah, maybe there'll be a bit of a pullback. Maybe we'll do something like this, that kind of consolidation to prior all-time highs. We might even do something a bit rad, like pump to 110k and then just like rip it back down, just to really punish all the late perp longers. And just, you know, generally there's fuckery around all-time highs, or it does a big fuck you candle, comes back, tries to retest it and goes. And that's the kind of thing that we saw on Mudang earlier. And that's, you know, a setup in and of itself, right, if that happens. So always opportunity. If you're sidelined, there's been so much going on. Like, you know, I wasn't maximum exposed when we were down at wherever, like down here. Right, I didn't like flip because I was away until like here. I think I was back. And you know, I missed some of the first moves, but there were so many other ones. And we were talking about it last week, like in like Pepe. You know, Pepe. Like this massive parabolic run, lovely, fuck, missed it, missed the whole move. But realistically, like, that's what you missed. Like, I tweeted the pop catch out the other week and everyone went fucking mental and they were like, oh, Charlie, you know, why are you being such a prick? Like, if you bought the bottom, you've made some good gains. Like, yeah, that wasn't my point. My point was, like, this is what we're kind of here for. And this is what happens when we break out of, like, these big ranges. Do you know what I mean? When we get the real risk-on conditions, there's so much juice in the tank that, you know, why are we celebrating like this? Like, this is fucking nothing. And then sure enough, a few weeks later, like, we're like absolutely ripping. And, you know, I guess everyone's probably feeling like they're massively underperforming and that, you know, everyone's caught every runner and that you have to overexpose and over risk and all this kind of stuff. How many of you are feeling like that? How many of you think that you've done really well? Or you think that you could have done better? What's your thought process? Where are you all mentally right now? BBC Charlie. Is that BBC as in the thing that I don't wanna search for? Or is that the British Broadcasting Channel? I'm mowing it across the board. Could have done better. It's your first cycle, still learning a lot. That's fair. And it's good that you don't beat yourself up for it, mate. Like, if it's your first cycle, like, there's so many mistakes that you'll make. Well, you may make those mistakes even in your whatever mine is now. If this is like, if this is a fresh cycle, if you're considering this like a new cycle in and of itself, then this will be my fourth, I guess. No, my dumbass held Pepe since day 2 and was away during the first top. I mean, since day 2. Oh, well, since here. Flip-flopping too much when Bitcoin starts moving down. Yeah, that's quite hard. It was hard to flip bullish after that red season. Yeah, PTSD. I loved what someone said in the group, which was bullish with a hint of PTSD. I genuinely think that that was like that was the kind of peak way of putting it. Filled it with spot on margin but lacking low time frame. I mean, you gotta be pretty happy with that though. That's a good way of doing it. Pretty happy with the performance past months, but it feels like you're leaving money on the table. I think that's the perpetual thing in crypto. You can make, I don't know, different amounts, right? You can make $100, you can make $1,000, you can make $100,000, you can make $1 million, and you go, oh, I could have made, you know, $200, I could have made 2,000, I could have made 2 million. Like, it's always the way. What if I'd have held that? Why did I sell it here, man? I could have sold it there. Fuck me. Why didn't I compound it here? It was obviously going to go higher. You know, all this kind of stuff. It's kind of torture, like mental torture in a weird way. But it is very, very rewarding when it goes right. Oh, you're away. Oh, December. Ah, okay. Better late than never. Yes, exactly, Mark Toes. I've done great, but it never feels sufficient when you see others absolutely kill it. That's true. Do you use total charts to see where trend might become a little pause correction? Yeah, kind of. But not in the way that you probably think. I use the momentum, and I want to see like momentum divergences to think, you know, that let me just skip to it because I'm not explaining or articulating that very well. What I want to see, or not necessarily want to see, but you know, you look at this and you go like, this is the chart I posted ages ago and said, look, here's basically the retest of the former highs. Bosh, you know, former all-time high retest, one of my favorite setups of all time. You would have seen this probably time and time again if you've been following me. Like, here's a former all-time high, we fuck off, and we come back, we dick around here for a little bit, and then we just go, right? And that little bit of fuckery is what kind of I think will happen with Bitcoin as well, but this setup is like tried, tested, it happens all the fucking time. Even like on local former highs, which is what happened with Mudang earlier. You know, this is now in an uptrend, and it's just dumb, I think, to kind of assume that this is going to stop, right? Some calculated tactical hedges, like the Altcoin short that that Shane message retracted. I don't know if Shane's just like spamming it, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that because it's a good one. It's a good thought process, and it triggers people, right? People can understand the notion of shorting something even when you're in the books, longing it balls deep almost every day, the other way, hoping it breaks out, watching it get absolutely slammed, watching the market generally start to pull back, and you think, well, fuck it, there's a decent short setup here. But anyway, we'll come on to that. But what I, you know, would want to see to start making me feel a bit like bearish and a bit like, oh, this trend is over, is either like just a break of trend here, which, you know, is like what most people would look for in terms of structure. You know, boom, boom, boom. Okay, we're printing high highs. It's kind of a low. I don't know if I can draw it like that anyway. You know, if we keep going like that, like who cares? Like there's nothing for me to get sort of scared about. It's when we start putting in like consistently weaker highs, and what that would do is it would put RSI like that, and you would see that we are going up each time by smaller amounts and essentially on weakening momentum. If we get something like that, that's when I start thinking, this isn't, you know, the best place to be in terms of massive exposure and blah blah blah. You'd probably see spaghetti go a different way. You'd see quite a few things kind of aligned to tell you that risk should be dialed down a little bit, right? And you can kind of see it across here. I mean, that's not really a divergence, but that is across here. That is a nice little div, yeah, going across these highs that you can see it quite well. The momentum is waning, and then you get the distribution, and then obviously it kind of dies off, yeah? So that's what we're looking out for. I don't think there's any signs of that just yet. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I'm bearish. Might take the odd short here and there when I think it's worth doing. But I too hope I get stopped out on that Altcoin short. Or that wonderful Twitter bait. I'll break even when you're on Moondown bags. Sorry, I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that it's one of those things where one of the charts I just constantly want to tweet is like this one, which is like, you know, someone told you to buy it here, and then it's like, fucking told you so. It's like, what are you on about, mate? I bought it when you said. Fucking held it for like a year, and now I'm back at break even. But yeah, I'm sure I've done plenty of those, so I probably shouldn't cast stones. I really enjoy this time. It's not the gains, it's knowing that I'm hedged and secure when I feel uneasy, knowing I can't lose too much. Yeah, I think that's the point. It's like I always view it as like I've got these chips on the table, right? I'm at a casino, and I've got, you know, 10 grand on the blackjack table, 20 on this, blah blah blah. And like if I was stood there, that much cash in front of me, and I was like gambling it all every time and just keep exponentially getting like bigger and bigger and bigger, am I comfortable that I might come back tomorrow and that's like 50% down? And people always say, oh, that won't happen. Don't be a fucking idiot, Charlie. Don't be so negative. Like FTX imploded, bang, minus 70% in a day. Luna imploded, bang, minus 99%, then bang, minus 99% again in the same day. So, you know, it does happen. It's just a systematic risk of crypto, and I'm not saying that it's going to happen again. You know, it's a 1 in, you know, 5-year event or whatever. But there's always that risk that it could happen with your coin. something gets hacked. We had it with OM the other day, right? I had friends that were holding OM for fucking years, and they were like, oh yeah, you know, this is like, you know, 3 million quid, 5 million quid, blah 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 blah. And, you know, they're looking at that, and then boom, gone. All of that evaporated one day, one single day, one single set of candles. Anyway, not to be negative, it's just that whole risk management thing. I'm gonna preach it while we're going up, and then a load of idiots, when the market goes like that, will go, hope you managed your risk. But anyway, take your profits, enjoy them whenever you want them. Don't be too afraid to, you know, everyone's going to be winning all the time on Twitter. That's what we do. We gloat. That's what social media is. We all kind of show off a little bit because we've never lost a trade in our lives and so on and so forth. But I can assure you, everyone does, myself included. Yeah, let's go over some other bits, but hopefully that gives you the kind of thought process. And if you want to use stuff like EMAs as well, was it this? Oh, that's good, isn't it? I can buy tops. Lovely. Not that one. Not this one. This one's pretty good. You know, reclaim trend. You got that one, which is, you know, publicly available, completely free, open sourced, yada yada yada. You know, there's just no reason to fade this break in trend. So, you know, every single time, reject, 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 reject. You know, like literally it's just telling you that the trend is down. And then this, we're above the trend, and bang. Not only do we cross, and actually from a price action perspective of levels, you know, that looks pretty good in terms of reclaim and a breakout. And until we get something that says, okay, well, either we've got the divs across the highs, or we're really retesting the trend, or the trend completely catches up and we get across, and we go, well, actually, that kind of lines up with former highs, and maybe that's all the juice that's left in the market in terms of, you know, liquidity and asset allocation into crypto and blah, blah, blah. Then, yeah, maybe there's something over here. But if you think that through, that would give us, you know, a couple of months at least, or at least one or two very fucking big candles and expansive moves for the entire market. So that's kind of how I'm thinking about it from a higher time frame perspective. And if you want, you can dwell on the fact that the entire market is up 25%, or you can go, well, the last time we had one of these kind of expansive moves, the entire market went up 70%. So by proxy, you know, very simply, we're about a third of the way through. So shall I cry over the third that I missed, or shall I just log in every day and try and get the best of the other 45%? Not that it's obviously a one-to-one kind of move. You know, it doesn't work like that, obviously. But I mean, 75%. It seems it seems a little bit sus. 76. Nah, come on, man. Come on. I kind of like disproved my own. If I eke it out a bit, there you go, 73. So, you know, when you start thinking about it in those kind of mindsets, you think, yeah, maybe we're about a third of the way through. If it's anything like the former kind of breakouts and you know, trending moves. That's actually some nice Twitter bait. So I'm gonna, Doc, don't you tweet that, otherwise I'm gonna be mad. Joking. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts in terms of where we are in this rotation. And yeah, if you're not exposed already, just be on the lookout. Use Spaghetti. Use Spaghetti to identify outperformers on low time frame. I will cover off exactly what I did for the Mudang long earlier, because it's a great one, and we will go through some other thoughts. Right. Should we go ETH first, actually? So Bitcoin, if you're not long, I'd suggest either let's get rid of this. Get rid of these. Lovely. Right. Like, for me, personally, I think genuinely range reclaims in terms of, like, this is the range and the consolidation. This is a clear kind of deviation. This is a strong push above, and this is a retest of that, like, lower end of the range. Like, if you get that again, bomb, buy, long, invalidation, go. You know, the other way is to try and play a breakout up here, and to be long like this. Now, I'm not as much of a fan on this on Bitcoin. On altcoins, absolutely. If it's a relatively strong altcoin, I will go for this every single time. But those two setups are the simplest setups that you can possibly do, in my opinion, on altcoins and Bitcoin. Like I said, with Bitcoin, I prefer range reclaims, purely because breakouts on Bitcoin, as you can see, like it's, you know, a gajillion-dollar asset now. It just gets absolutely cucked when it tries to break out. But yeah, that for me is kind of the only places, or the only places locally that I'd want to be trying to trade. And if I really wanted like a pullback to kind of play, you know, this forming a lower high here, coming back down and then doing something just a bit janky, just in terms of like shitty diagonal price action, which I absolutely fucking hate to trade. And then you're looking for either something down here, like go into former consolidations. So sorry, probably down here actually at like 95. Go and wick into former consolidations, presumably because something fucking terrible has happened, and literal instant demand, like instant, like sell off from, you know, big V reversal candles, like, you know, this kind of shit down here, like bang, instantly kind of comes back up. Maybe a bit more like this. That's not even instant. Maybe bad examples, but you know, big sell-offs, big reversals, that kind of thing. I don't think we get that, to be honest. I think the entire environment is very risk on. So I think if anything, your better bet is breakout trades or reclaims. That's why I like both of them. But the reason that I don't do the breakouts on Bitcoin, as I said, is because relative strength means that for alts, they typically have a better chance of breaking out if you're along the right alt. And we'll talk about that now, after we've slurped some water and read chat. Thoughts on Super? None. Good morning, Charlie. Good morning. Can you explain why the trenches sometimes pump the 5th generation of a ticker but not the previous 4? I mean, you're asking me to explain human stupidity and attention spans. It's not something I'm qualified to do, I'm afraid. Hype strong? Yeah, hype's alright. But there's, you know, memes are much stronger. Am I actually above water? I must be like well above water on my hype buys now. Yes. It's in hype buys at like 17 that were underwater for about 2 months. Yeah, it does look good, doesn't it? Does look good. Looks very nice. Again, like that's the kind of no real retest, but that's the kind of trend continuation of like a breakout consolidation, reclaiming this form of consolidation over here. Like that's nice to me. Obviously that's very retrospective, but that's kind of what I mean. Consolidation, playing breakouts. Let's go, Hype strong. Come on, Charlie. Can we look at hype? Yeah, there you go. I mean, again, you know, if I went to long this, to be honest, like the way the price action was, is it was there. That was the long. That's the breakout long of like this little consolidation here. That's what I like to do anyway. I wouldn't have my stop there. I'd literally have my stop under there and play a big rotation like this. But you know, it's also got quite a bit of an overhang at 26, so probably wait for it to push out, assuming it does, obviously. Go with something like that. It's probably going to at least go to all-time highs, isn't it? Right, let's go. Enough only top blasting. Intent RSI with bear divs. Breaks a lot of low time frame market structures. Are we ever going to get a pullback to long? No, I don't think so. So first part of your question is it's pretty tough for sideliners. Just, yeah, up top blasting and after break. But maybe the future finance last few days need to help keep it running. Mate, I'm doing my part. I'll tell you what, I can sell and stop it running if you want. But yeah, I'm doing my fucking part, I'll tell you that. Yeah. Again, it's like no wonder it's kind of stalling a little bit here. That's where it stalled before. Hopefully we just get something like this just a little pullback, and then just something like that, and then I want it to do one of those moves again where it just did 200x in a day. That would be ideal. 7 triggers on breakout altcoins. I'll go over Mudang. Apt and near, mate. I'm not trying that. Fuck that. Whoa, why would you go for that? Look, all these other things. Like, where are they in here? Where are they? Where are they? Play the beta, boys. Look at it. Look at it. Spaghetti trades. Anyway, we've done enough, like, shit coins. I'll do ETH very quickly. So ETH, again, I've not been, like, super exposed to ETH. I actually thought ETC would do better than ETH. And it genuinely hasn't, which is surprised the hell out of me, because ETC is usually the one that rips. You know, it's 28% up, whereas ETH itself is like 40 something, I think, from the actual break. Yeah, 44. So again, for me, like, do I want to be long in this? Not really. The kind of place to long it was, again, simple range, sell off, deviation, almost retest in the 50, reclaim. That's where you go. Right here, right now. See, let's have a look at ETH BTC. I mean, still pretty strong, but if it comes back in and comes back under, then we're probably going to get a couple of shit days in terms of alts, and that's fine with me, right? I'd quite like a couple of quiet days, because I do think some of the charts need to chill out a little bit, but equally, if risk's back on, then who am I to question the trend? Just keep pressing the green button until it stops fucking working. You know, I should be able to take 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 losses in a row, assuming my risk management's right, before I notice that actually this isn't fucking working anymore. Shit, something's going, you know, materially wrong, and something's massively changing, because the market's not as risk on as it was. So, you know, I always give myself that kind of room to say, well, actually, the market has changed, and I need to respond differently to it. So, you know, if you are top blasting, or you're playing rotations and they're just doing this, they're doing piss poor rotations and they're chopping you up, chances are that's kind of an underlying regime shift. Sorry, something just popped up. Apparently 25 million size Altcoin liquidation at 155, so adjust your TPs accordingly. That's, to me, sounds like the funnest, like, on-chain game of like, oh, what I'm going to do is I'm going to publicly do a short that gets liquidated here while stacking 3 times the size here of the gain if it goes from there to there. You know, it's fucking stupid. But I do like the fact that people will get hyped for all that kind of shite. It's very, how do I put it? It's very fucking venomous when you think about it. Like, I get the trading's PvP, and like, when I posted the Altcoin short, like, everyone gets their fucking pitchforks out, and they're like, ah, fuck Charlie. Like, I had 200 odd people unfollow me as a result of that. Just to put it into perspective, 200 absolute pussy-holes that can't take, you know, somebody having a slightly different view to them. And, you know, the short itself actually took it here in the end. It worked out, you know, range high to range low. Literal range high retest, bosh, range low, reclaim. Alright, look for longs. Structure's changed. Like, I don't know why people fucking cry about it. Maybe it's because I put a ridiculous target on it, and that upset people. But if you're getting triggered by people posting stuff like this, trading is just not for you. You just need to sack up. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. We just want to be too IQ. I know. That's why I don't, like, whenever people are talking about positioning and all this kind of stuff, I'm like, yeah, but you don't know net positioning. And everyone's like, oh, spot's buying and CVD this and da-da-da. I'm like, well, who gives a fuck? Like, it kind of shows you that you show me a price action chart and I'll tell you what's fucking going on. Like, you don't know how people are positioned with options, spot bags, you know, blah, blah, blah. You might know how one trader on one exchange is positioned on that one exchange, but that is literally it. But anyway, I will stop. We'll save that rant for another day and we'll get off my soapbox. So let's look at Mudang, because this was a fucking banger, and this is an absolute incredible sort of demonstration of the whole reason that I trade spaghetti. Not to kind of, you know, suck myself off or anything like that, but it is just like, this is absolute gold dust in terms of like education and all that kind of stuff, right? When I'm looking at stuff like low time frame spaghetti, 5-second chart, right? And everyone's like, why'd you look at the 5-second chart? It's because the market's fucking fast and because I want a good entry. Like, yeah, I could sit on the 1-minute chart. Yeah, I could sit on the 5-minute chart. But if I can get a much better entry, you know, it basically recovered, what, 2% in like a few seconds? It was literally like the Pico bottom. Let's go to it. Let's go to fucking Mudang. Bosh, bosh, bosh. I love the Bosch guy, by the way. If any of you have actually seen him on Twitter. Bosh. We even got the fucking retest bit right. Like, literally, I was on fire today. It's one of those days where trading in the zone. Trading in the zone today. And to be honest, I needed it, because the couple of days before I was getting a bit, like, frustrated. But, you know, hit a couple of wins and a few losses. Small losses, but, you know, it's like, frustrating. Like you say, when everyone is supposedly winning and all your coins, like Altcoin, is not breaking out, so you just fucking short it and win on that instead. But anyway, so you've got price that looks like this, right? Bearing in mind that contextually, this coin has been the best performer in, like, this basket for a long time, yeah? When we had this, I was like, I'm cautious, because we have a lower high, right? A high time frame, lower high. I mean, obviously not 15-minute, but you know, this is kind of like starting to get a bit in terms of momentum. Like, structure's changing a little bit. Market's generally a bit risk off, and again, you know, this is lower, like, not great. But you see this, you see all these equal lows, and you see this as well, and you go, something's kind of a bit fishy there. It's almost like someone is getting massively filled in this area. You go, okay, well, that's a great theory, Charlie. Wonderful. You're just gonna buy? You're just gonna buy blindly? Like, absolutely not. What? Why not? Well, I don't really know if this is going to be particularly strong. I don't know if there's going to be, you know, any real strength. So we'll go to the low time frame. Cool. We've got this little range, and we're literally at the range lows. Market as a whole looks good. We see the sell-off. We see the reclaim. We just ape in. Hello, Charlie. And then we go, okay, well, we're breaking out of that range. Hello, Charlie. Bosh, bosh. There's my orders. My average is like here. And then when we actually start moving, it's all right. And then we get the pullback to retest the range. It just doesn't fuck around in the range, right? It dips in, goes, nope, that is not where value is. Value is not here in this range. And actually, bosh, we're gonna fucking full send. And all of that is from this and price action. Could I have been wrong on this? Yeah, absolutely. Could have just rolled over and went down. Bosh, cut, easy. Not a problem. Take a small loss. You know, my P&L looks like this. Looks like, you know, if this is like break even, looks like loss, 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 win, win, win. Maybe not 50-50. In these conditions, it's actually probably more like win, 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 win. You know, and maybe take something like that. I think I got about 70% at the moment win rate. But some of them are like tiny wins, some of them are tiny losses, whatever, I don't know. Either way, when you manage your risk properly, that's that. But then the other point to kind of point out is, a lot of people will say, like, why do you squiggle on charts, like, blindly like this? I go, well, because I want to, you know, I have a theory about what price will do. And what price tends to do when it breaks out like these big ranges is it will sweep the former highs, and then it'll probably lose momentum, especially if it was a fucking ridiculous move like that. And where will it find support? Probably at those highs. So the same schematic that we were talking about at the start of the stream, in terms of former highs, like I used all-time highs, and that is usually my favorite setup, but obviously this isn't the all-time high of Mudang, and the all-time high of Mudang is up here somewhere. But former highs, really good place for it to pull back to. Now, potentially I should have added, and obviously that's really good in hindsight, but I didn't want to. And that's fine. I don't always need to, you know, add and compound and get everything right and blah, blah, blah. But where did we actually... I did actually sell the absolute Pico top. I wonder if I was the Pico top. I literally sold some here. And I sold some here in this candle. Actually, might have been the Pico top. That's fucking banging. Yeah, I was in the Pico top candle. Get fucked. But you know, it's just a really nice kind of example of how spaghetti can go. Actually, you should be looking at Mudang. Go, alright then, I'll look at Mudang. But fuck me, this chart is lovely. What would be my entry trigger? Ranges, breakouts, retests, simple price action. And in these conditions, don't need anything more than that. Do not need anything more than that, in my opinion. And again, that's all in the context of the higher time frame trend, which we've established by looking at the total charts is bullish, which we've established by looking at Bitcoin is bullish, which, you know, we can think back to and go over, and we can say, well, okay, we know the conditions for this trend to either be considered reversing or just slow or just weak. And the other thing that I always preach about as well, if you haven't tuned into my streams before, is this spaghetti chart. And before you ask, I will just dump it in, what's it called? The chat. Oh, I've just turned my music off because I am retarded. I can obviously do both. So, my sincere apologies. Sorry, I should say redacted. If you guys wouldn't mind liking the stream and stuff, that helps me. I don't know how, but it does. I assume it makes me earn millions of dollars off YouTube sponsorships and stuff, but either way, it'd be very nice if you just show me some love. So yeah, that was Mudang. Absolute banger. You know, really, really good trade. And as for Altcoin, which I think we should go over next because it's, you know, very in play. And again, this here is the same that we had here, right? It's kind of like, I'm a bit worried. I actually wanted to, so I sold some here and I sold some here. And I said, like, where I want to add back is essentially a flip of this. So I'm a bit of a degenerate. I'm like more on the 5-minute chart. You know, this, I was very tempted. It's a good job. My friend Ruck tempted me to play computer games because I was tempted to long this, but I mean, it didn't really reclaim and do anything convincing. So I'm still kind of in a bit. I'm still in some of my position, but you know, if I'm looking to, if I sold here and I sold, I think it was here, you know, I don't want to just keep going. Why I'm going to keep adding it, and then oh, it goes down here, and I'm gonna add here, and then oh shit, I've just given half my fucking profits back. You know, there's going to be other rotations. There's going to be other coins. There's going to be other stuff. Jelly was one actually, which I did I did a terrible trade on Jelly, and it worked out. But that was actually from one of the chads in Paragon, who we'll talk about. Cringe life much. Holy shit, it's still going. Ruck, drinks are on me, buddy. Yeah, I literally, my friend DM'd me on Discord and was like, fucking jelly, rah rah rah, like, this is the original, like, IC, whatever it is, ICM coin. I think he DM'd me about a year. And then when it pulled back massively, I was like, ah, fuck this, I'm gonna long some, and I'm just gonna use that low as the invalidation. And I'm still long from, like, here somewhere. I don't know, sorry. From, like, here. It's a fucking terrible trade. But in these conditions, I've been, maybe it's a bit higher. Where am I long from? Oh, 0.40. So yeah, it's a bit higher. Yeah, I owe Cringe a few beers. Internet capital markets is what ICM is. It's kind of the on fleek meter, as the kids would say. Check me out, being very cool. Now the music stopped. That was weird. I think it was actually a remix, but whatever. Let's go. So yeah, like this is what I mean. Like big breakout, huge impact on spaghetti, even though it's not there for some reason. I think I must have loaded up or not saved it. Jelly. Gosh. There you go. This is what I mean, right? You get something like this that's just ripping. And the kind of first consolidation, it's like there's a pattern that I put on Twitter called the giraffe pattern, which is, you know, as you can imagine, a kind of giraffe. And the reality of it is I called it that because when I first started, I named all my trading patterns animals because it was an easy way to remember them. It was an easy way to categorize them in terms of this is what I was trading, blah, blah, blah. Just the way my stupid brain works. But what you normally get is you get a trending move, consolidation, trending move. And in something like this, you know, the next obvious, or not obvious, the next logical argument for the trending move would be up. So, you know, first consolidation, you want to kind of get long in that consolidation and play it to the upside. But it was a pretty degenerate kind of trade. So I didn't have any signals other than I've seen this game before. I'm gonna fucking just I actually bought, I think I bought like here, and then I added here, and then I added here, and so, or something like that. Maybe my first buy was here, so my average was 0.40 or whatever. But yeah. Are we getting too old? I think I'm getting too old. Am I holding any spot? Well, not as much as I'd like. Put it that way. I'm sidelined, but the upside is that, you know, I'm a good perp trader, so I have more. I mean, I was a bit pissed off, largely with the fact that when I was in America, I just couldn't be bothered to sort of VPN out, and I always said that like I've got a half-size Bitcoin spot position, from where was it? Not that one. This one here at like 93. Because I basically said when 91, 92 is reclaimed, I have to kind of just invalidates my short thesis and risk off market and blah blah blah, because it's the reclaim of this form of consolidation up here. So that was always my like pivot point. I always said that that's my pivot point. But you know, even just meme diagonalers like outperformed me on that move, and it was largely because of my laziness, which I think there's a quote, isn't there? It's hard to be motivated when you wake up in silk sheets, but it's a bit of a slacking kind of performance. So the other project that I'm working on at the moment is my indicator suite that I'm going to be putting in the Paragon, obviously, and I'm just trying to make it. Don't worry, it's not the one that tells you to buy tops. That's a very old indicator. Bearish are the lows. But yeah, it's just about sort of framing the context of both Bitcoin and altcoins in general, and because this concept is quite hard for people to grasp, you know, conceptually it's quite difficult to put into action, I think, and it does require quite a bit of screen time. So I want to try and automate that as much as possible for people and make it a little bit more like, not buy here, sell here, but should you really be longing this? You know, probably. Should you really be shorting this? Probably not. Should you be, you know, trying to look for longs? Yes. You know, it's a combination of just all the normal stuff with EMAs, volume, relative strength, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it's I'm getting something quite good. So yeah, not holding much spot, but I am crushing altcoins on perps. I saw someone ask about desync earlier, so I'm gonna cover that as well. You know, I've said about desync for months and months and months. Obviously, they sponsored the stream, and I still have a massive bag of it. So buy it, send it to preferably about $1. That'd be great. You know, up here somewhere. But this is what I mean. Downtrend, base, breakout, retest, go. That is like perfect. And that's what I said every time. If you go back to any one of my streams, I basically said the only time that I might have bought is here, which was when it sold off down here, and then it moved up and essentially held. And then as soon as it died, I was like, you know, I'm not just going to tell you guys to buy shit that isn't showing any strength. Unless I've got a kind of good thesis about it. Don't forget to fart on stream. Haven't had any beans or anything, mate. Any other gems like desync? I've got a massive bag of Burt, so it'd be pretty irresponsible if I didn't shill you that. Burt's going to, you know, $1 billion. I'm pretty convinced Burt would have been on Binance if the market had just not shat the bed. Especially after all that. And then the market started fucking dying. And it just killed all the momentum. Because it was fucking everywhere. Which was great. But yeah. Fog's done really well. But I mean, for me personally, I didn't nail the move on Fog at all. I bought Fog at 50, I think. I bought Fog at here somewhere. And I sold it at like 45, and I thought, oh my god, I'm a cunt, because this is gonna go to like $10 or something. And then, obviously, it fucking died. I think, you know, it's gonna be interesting to see if this is like the start of fully trending moves and blah blah blah. Like, I would absolutely love it to be. I think some of the memes, like potentially Fog, aren't as strong as others. Like if you look at Pepe as an example, you know, Pepe's much cleaner in terms of the relative strength that it's shown compared to the rest of the market. Like it's bounced from, let's just delete all of this, right? In my opinion, huge pivotal level, kind of going across here. Okay, maybe a bit higher, but whatever, you get the point. You know, you know, failure. Like this, like all this consolidation, whenever it breaks up, it tends to have a pretty good move, like massive move. Even this move has been pretty good, even if it like just matches this, right? I mean, I could just draw that with an actual line, but it's pretty fucking good. Yeah. When you look at Fog and you look at like how the structure is, it's not as aggressive as this. I don't know. I think maybe I'm just being boomer about it. But either way, unobjectively, Jelly, Popcat. Oh, sorry, not Popcat. What the fuck am I about? Mudang. You know, everything pales in comparison to that. Burt down here. Peanut. The launch coin thing. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. I mean, it's clearly, and keto and all that kind of stuff. There's quite a few things that a lot of people who, to be honest, if I'd have done 2 minutes of research, I probably would have actually bought a bag myself. But yeah, there's lots of things that have launched recently that are actually quite interesting. The whole launch coin meta is how do I put it? Very fast. Like the ICM meta of internet, whatever it is, internet capital markets, absolutely wild. You know, it feels like we've had an entire narrative shift in a single day. I think IP meta comes back. Yeah, I think IP will be a big thing. You know, memes that actually have their IP. Cough, Burt being one of them. But yeah. Let me find the launch coin thing, because it is fucking wild. Doc shared a chart of it and it was just like, he's like, I'm glad I slept. I missed generational wealth again. It's like, my brother in Christ. I'm never going to sleep again. Yeah, cheers for modern SE. don't like anyone, just ban them. Yeah, look at this piece of shit, man. Holy fuck. This is why we hold some dog shit vaporware, boys. Because occasionally you wake up and in a single day, every motherfucker wants it. Look at that. Wild. To be honest, I don't know anyone who's done well out of this. But I can see a lot of mutuals following it, so I don't really... I've got no idea. I think that's just one pull, mate. I don't know. I'm a bit retarded when it comes to all this stuff. I'm guessing it's just one. Meteora. Don't know. I don't even know how to LP, mate. I don't really understand LP, liquidity provision, you know. I'm just... I've never understood impermanent loss. So I just try and stick to perps. I don't LP shit. But yeah, I mean, that is obviously one thing, isn't it? Everyone goes to like this and goes, oh, holders, you know, this person's up 3.5 million. It's like, if you've ever tried to sell 3.5 million into a chart like this, you're gonna have a very fun time. Yeah, I've obviously clipped like 3.5 million into a chart, but even like some charts that are reasonably liquid, or you think are liquid, when you start cashing shit out, it can be not so fun. But I mean, incredible if people fucking held this. If people even got in this shit yesterday, do you know what I mean? Like, this is what we're in crypto for. Fucking 10x in a day, basically. Fucking wild. I said in the group today, like, people are like, what do you think about this narrative? I'm like, to be honest, CT are horny as fuck for a narrative. So if any iota of one comes, then people are just gonna ape the shit out of it, and they have. Remember when Bird fought me on LP at 100 million market cap? Yeah, it's fucking wild, mate. It was liquid as fuck. Unreal. Just going around 20 million, got out today. Nice, mate. Really nice. Like, that's it, you know, some of these plays, like, this is it. If you can find stuff that you think has a good narrative, obviously DM me at first, and I'll, you know, load up, and then we'll show the fuck out of it, and we'll send it. But, yeah, you know, these plays are great, man. Like, this is the market that we fucking live and dream about, right? What the fuck? I saw this shit this morning as well. Yeah. Trenches are really on fire. I ate some other dog shit instead. Okay, so in conditions like these, they're all like, that's what I mean. It's like, I'm like, oh man, I literally saw this Goon C shit this morning, and I was like, nah, fuck that. And then I smashed Mudang. Yeah. It's always easy to think you're underperforming the market, but actually, you know, there's always another opportunity. Like, we can short Altcoin again now. Let's fucking add fuel to the fire. Send it to 0. I'm joking. Like, do I want to short this now? Tempted just to trigger some people on Twitter. Some pussies. Wow, you can't short my coin. But realistically, like, let's kind of put into context what that would look like, you know. Let's go. It was actually ETH. Fuck me. I was like, that purple one's Fartcoin, but it's not. It's fucking ETH. Fartcoin's actually, yeah, doing worse than Bitcoin. So maybe it's not a bad idea. Oh, I'm not advocating it. Not on stream. I'll do the danger trading offline. But Yeah, that's to be fair, that is kind of what you want to see if you are thinking about shorting stuff. But yeah, I think this is consolidated for so fucking long now. Like, it surely has to break up. You know, it's one of the stupidest fucking memes out there that almost everybody can relate to. You know, my wife listening to my stream last week and listening to me talk about Fartcoin. I'm not sure it was the most enamored she's ever been with me. But yeah, you get something like that, or even just play a breakout. Like, yeah. I prefer just buying constantly at the range lows, as I have been doing for days and days and days and days and days, and then selling at range highs. You know, it's been a nice 10% a day strategy, but it'll only last for so long. ICP Solving on fire too, yeah. Did today Miles Dutcher made a video about Launchcoin? Oh, probably. He probably got in the pre-sale or some shit. Was an investor. Hashtag allegedly. But it's also meta. Ref is the next launch coin. Heard it here first. Thanks for the stream. You're welcome. So you're talking about Bertrand the Bahrainian? That's the one, mate. That's the one. Send it to infinity, please. Buy $100 million of it on market right now. But yeah, I mean, there's kind of not much point, in my opinion, talking about much else other than memes. There's a few bags that I've held for ages, like Zig. You know, Zig's done really well, like break it down trend, reclaim range, at least go to range highs. We talked about this last week in terms of, you know, the structure of it. It's just like very, very fucking clean. And, you know, breaking out, reclaiming that range, like this is pretty much what happened. It just didn't pull back at all, you know, shift that along. That's literally it, apart from the pullback. So, you know, I expect that to at least hit here. Now, I wouldn't say long here. You know, I've got a bag of it. I'd love you to buy my bags. I always wonder who the fuck is buying here. Do you know what I mean? Like, who sees this chart and goes, like up to here and goes, yeah, I'll fucking have me some of that. There's always someone, right? But I don't want it to be you guys. I want you to make money when I'm making money. I don't want to be dumping on your heads. Me, you're welcome. Cheers, Willie. Thanks, mate. Can we check on Vanry? Yeah, of course we can. I've still got a fair bit of Vanry. Not as much as I obviously had. And it is coming back to life. Let's but I feel like a moral obligation to cover it, because I showed the fuck out of it back here. Let me just put it in perspective. Showed the absolute fuck out of it. Like way back here when it broke out. And it did whatever it did. Like 5x. And then I showed it way back here when it did this. And then I kind of stopped talking about it for a bit. And now it's come up off the lows, but obviously it's down quite a lot. Down quite a lot. You know, like most altcoins at the moment though, it's got nice structure in terms of hope for a recovery. What have I just done? Don't know what I've just done. We'll gloss over that. Minor technical issues with Charlie. You know, from here, nice structure, run it up, reclaim this range, reclaimed it here. I'd hope it just carries on, just trend continues. And to be honest, it's one of those where like it's been going down for a long time with a few spats of a few runs. You know, you would hope that this can just pull a ripper of a move. But equally, it's about how they kind of maintain relevance in the meme meta. And I will always say that new shiny shit is often better than stuff like this. So I'm not going to advocate trying to buy it all down here, right? Like, new shiny shit's just better. Like, do you want something that's recovered like this, or do you want something that's like this already? And is potentially going to just carry on going. It's a good project. I like the guys, I like the team, but yeah, it's Doing Kia, Charlie? No, I faded it like a fucking retard. I just want to be poor forever, mate. I didn't fancy making hundreds of millions of dollars. I thought, you know what? I would love to work at McDonald's again, because I have worked at McDonald's. 0 stars, by the way, which is their like how they quantify you as an employee. So I was shit. This was many years ago, and it was like a college job or whatever you Americans call it. What do you buy now? Look at this motherfucker. I just tell you guys, right? I tell you guys, I don't want to be dumping on your heads. I don't want to be telling you to buy the tops of charts, right? I'll tell you to breakout trade. This motherfucker comes in, tells me to buy this. What the fuck? What the fuck? I don't buy charts like this, mate. You know, and there's the whole, oh well, it could just do this and run that, but like, where am I wrong on this? Where am I wrong on this thesis and this trade? Like, I know between the like 15 people I know that have bought it, I know that they're all sat on unrealized P&Ls of about like 50 million or something fucking stupid. You know what I mean? Probably not 50 million. I doubt they own a third of the supply between them, given that 50% of it is in actually, so yeah, a lot more. I just don't buy this. I like buying in this, or like the initial breakout, right? Or if I've got a massively high conviction, I will just buy it. But now's not the time. There will be a pullback at some point. I don't know if it's here. I don't know if it's here. I don't know where the fuck it's going to be, right? I've got no idea, but I know it will happen at some point. Hot number one. I don't want to be aping into that. It's not because it says hot number one now, Charlie, you fucking retard. Like, yeah, it's because I would rather buy it when either everyone doesn't know about it, or when structurally it's got some form of invalidation. Because all I will do is buy this. If it pulls back and comes into here, well then I'm fucked. If it pulls back just a bit and carries on, oh, great, I'll probably be happy. But I would rather wait for that. Even if it goes like this and pulls back up here, I'd rather be buying a pullback. That sounds really fucking stupid. You'd rather buy higher. Yes. Yes, because I suck at buying this. I mean, this looks like vertical accumulation into acceleration, right? So it looks really, really good if you're holding it. Really, really good. But for me, I suck at jumping into that. And I FOMO too much. Or I used to FOMO too much, I should say. Personally think ones that have that cycle are better. Change of hands, new ones usually quicker pump and dumps. Old ones, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you have got that side of things. Like, we have seen some old coins that have just absolutely ripped and have just come up from nothing and have just done this and gone like bum, because everyone who's fucking wanted to get out of it are sold on these brutal downtrends. Obviously not this. You know, look at like stuff like ordinals. Like, this was the future of finance. That fucking ordinals run. Now look at it, it's like down 99% from the highs or some shit. This could easily just run a few X's, same as like Vanry. Could just absolutely rip. But what probably happens first is the new shiny shit runs, right? Everyone's like, wee, Kita, blah, blah, blah. Like, they make a ton of money and then they go, okay, so what else, what other bullshit narrative can we kind of sell and rotate into? And then we're like, remember ordinals, boys? Bang! And yeah, because it's been literally down only for months and months and months, if not years, it'll just 2x in a day as everyone goes, right, let's rush back to ordinals. Especially as Bitcoin, if Bitcoin goes up and goes to like 200k or something stupid, it'll be a Bitcoin ecosystem play, and there's probably loads of plays like that, right? But in terms of capital allocation, my capital allocation is preferably the outperformers, which currently is memes. So, you know, that's how I want to play rotations. Thoughts on nobody? Oh, I like nobody. Nobody sausage. I mean, I have a bag. I bought it fair and square, open market, down here somewhere. 3k, 4k, whatever. I haven't tweeted about it or shielded it or done anything like that. So just full disclosure, I have a bag of this. I mean, again, consolidation, retest this high, bosh, fucking send it. Wake it up. Wake it up, SZ. Break this little shitty downtrend. Roof. Send it. I see you retweeting their videos all the time. I toss it a like and a comment, but I haven't actually shilled it yet. Because every time I shill memes, I just get fucking my head bashed in. Which is why I just post Altcoin shorts. And piss everybody off. Just like Popcat and Whiff. Can we have a look at God of Grass, mate? Grass? Yeah, sure. What does my strategy entail? That's a fucking big question. I usually buy spot bags. I held Bitcoin for 7 years, for Christ's sake, from like 2017 to 2020, well, end of 2024. I sold it for like over 100k, and then I invest in projects. I buy meme coins. I trench. I hold bags that I buy for longer periods, like Ethereum, like Solana, various other ones. And then I do a lot of perp trading around this kind of stuff, spaghetti. So it's a very mixed bag. I kind of do it all. But if I'm known for one thing, it's probably this. And fumbling $1 billion a ship. I did alright out of that trade. Like, you know, it was like a, I don't know, several thousand X return for me. Do I teach my strategy, which I use currently? Check Peepo? Oh yeah, I will check Peepo. Wait for him to share it to 20 million TikTok followers. Holy shit. But yeah, so I mean, I teach loads of stuff in the Paragon group. You can kind of check it out in my bio and all that kind of stuff. Still 0 mindshare? Fuck me. How's that 0 mindshare anyway? Yeah, so I've got a load of videos, educational videos and content in the Paragon group. So there's how I play rotations, how I invest, how I do all that kind of stuff. I haven't really got much on-chain tracking and all that kind of stuff, because that's a lot of what BonkBot will be not giving me, but they'll be giving me the tools to kind of facilitate an educational piece around all of that. So I'm going to kind of merge the two, and yeah, that'll kind of come separately, but you know, kind of watch the space on that one. But there's a lot of people in the Paragon who do the on-chain degeneracy, and they do it very well. You know, it is quite fun, actually, you know, to be sharing your views with other people who are so engaged in the market. And some of their views, you're like, fuck me, that's actually a brilliant idea, or that's a brilliant coin, or that's a brilliant whatever, you know. One of my friends, Stanley, is in there, who shared KTA very low, and he was the one who was like, just fucking look at this, you prick. And I was like, nope, fuck you. And obviously I missed out on generational wealth as a result, but I'm sure there'll be plenty of other opportunities. But yeah, it's lots of like-minded people, lots of education, lots of thoughts in general. I wouldn't say it's like a signals group. You know, you're not going to get like long here, stop loss here, all that kind of stuff. Like, obviously I share loads of trade setups, thoughts, ideas, but I'm not going to fucking press the button for you. And if you don't agree with the thought process, don't fucking take it. Don't fucking do it. You know, I'll give you an example. On one of the Altcoin trades, I was like, was it this one? I don't know. Whichever, one of these rotations. This one here. You know, I always say, I teach how I take profits on these things, and I kind of had this as a thesis, and I was playing this rotation, this one here, about 6 in the morning. Yeah, I think it was that one. Either way, it was like that. And targeting like range highs, blah blah blah. But obviously it kind of round tripped the whole thing, and I was like, well, nobody should be round tripping it, because that's not what I teach. It's not what I teach at all. And you know, I have one this morning, which was again a Altcoin long, and I was like, nah, do you know what? It's come back too far. I'm out of it, wherever it was. Oh shit, it was here. I was like, nah, I might go again, but that for me coming back into here, into this consolidation, and essentially under the light range, I was like, you could play it again, but I'm gonna just focus on Mudang, which is what I did, and obviously that worked out very, very well, much better than Altcoin. So yeah, if you want pure signals, then it's definitely, you know, there's other groups that do that, and they'll dump lots of garbage on your heads. But yeah, we do it. We do kind of require a modest bit of IQ and sensibility. So hopefully that's, you know, Doc fucking nailed hundreds of trades in the last few months. Doc's trend trading system is absolutely out of this world. Magus's read of flow and risk, again, out of this world. Both of them have been balls deep spot from like the Pico lows of Bitcoin. They sold the highs, they bought the lows. Yeah, they've probably both outperformed me, but don't fucking tell them that. Because their egos are getting massive, right? So don't tell them that. But yeah, they've both done very fucking well. And, you know, in trending conditions like Doc system, in terms of like more around EMAs, VWAPs and stuff like that, and obviously structure, it does very, very well. Very, very well. And he's killed a lot of moves. And Magus has just been like an unrelenting bull since these lows. Absolutely, you know, even squiggled it up here, and everyone called him a cunt and said it's going to do this, and it literally did it. It is done exactly that. So yeah, make sure you're following them both as well. They are both very, very good traders. That's why I work with them. That's why I put the Paragon with them. Anyway, enough gushing and emotional stuff from me. Let's get back to some stuff. And like going back to Vanry, like one of the best performers on the day. So, you know, could this be the start of something really fucking nice? Structure is good. Like this obviously isn't a high, but that's a higher high in terms of this structure. That's a higher low. So yeah, it is good. If you bought at the lows, it's probably going to do very well. W plays. Do a live stream with Trader SC? Mate, I wouldn't want to cramp his style. I did one of my first ever live streams with SC actually. Him and XO very, very gracefully bore me out of my shell. And yeah, that must be like 5 years ago now probably. I don't know, I've got such a terrible concept of time. But yeah, both of them really helped me to kind of gain the ability to speak confidently, or at least semi-confidently in public. It's just something I've always wanted to do, or always wanted to be able to do, because like 7 years ago I wouldn't, you know, very introverted accountant, like maybe 7 years ago, fuck me, it's probably like 9 years ago now, Jesus Christ. And now, you know, tweeting out to 125,000 people, or 124,000 bots and 1,000 people probably. But yeah, it's quite weird having a kind of semi-voice and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I used to have massive vocal rasp because I was just so shaky and lacked confidence. So yeah, cheers to the boys for bringing me out. Thoughts on the ISM Matter on Soul? You are old. I'm old, mate. I'm nearly 40. I mean, I'm a few years off it, but I'm on the darker side of 30, so might as well be dead in crypto years. Anyway, I'm deviating a little bit. I always have the idea that everyone's 18 like you. Fuck me. I've literally lived like twice the life that you've led. You just described the female orgasm. Which part? What's your secret to transforming your confidence? Make life-changing amounts of money out of digital pictures of frogs. Would be the secret sauce. Nah, just keep doing it. Keep doing it until you eventually become sort of semi-adequate at it, right? Again, that was referring to SC's comment about the female orgasm. Keep trying. I'll find the clitoris one day. I'm joking. Anyway, you can tell it's like getting towards the end of the stream because we're deviating massively. Man, he's ripping. Yeah, he's fucking going for it. Absolutely caning it. Fuck me. That is bullish for our shitcoins, boys. I'm not gonna lie. I'd prefer it was Sol because Bert, fuck me, Bert's ripping. I mean, Jelly's going, happy days. Bert's absolutely caning it. Perfect. Right, on this bombshell, That shit's a myth, yeah. What about Pengu? We actually covered Pengu again in the trading floor this morning. And it basically had a very nice range reclaim setup, and there was a... I'm sure it's going to be one of these. Yeah. So this looks like it wants to break out now. And I actually said in the group, I was like, this looks like, you know, if it reclaims, this is kind of where you want to get long. This is the setup that I like. I mean, look how fucking clean it is in terms of that line is not straight. That does my OCD. That is exactly what we were talking about in terms of like reclaim, like get long, off we go. I didn't, just to be very clear. That was literally when I woke up this morning, because we were looking at this. But like that is lovely. Yeah, even something like this is lovely in terms of like potential breakout trade if there's relative strength. So let's have a look. Let's kind of see. You know, I want to see a bit of relative strength. Don't even know where it is. I'm not even sure if I've got it colored in. But I would be on the lookout for it. Like it's a prime position for a breakout play. Prime position. But given that I can't even see it on here. Oh, there it is. There we go. Yeah, see? This is what I mean. This is why Spaghetti is so powerful and so good. Is it tells you that it's absolutely caning it. So yeah, maybe it is good. So obviously my internet connection's been a bit of a cunt. In fact, go for a bit of share, right? Sorry everyone, didn't mean to, you know, turn this a bit gay, but yeah, it's fucking ripping. Top blast a bit Pengu. Absolute scenes. Cool. Spaghetti's delicious too. Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. That's it for me today. Thank you all for being here. It's exceptionally kind of you to spare your time. And obviously thank you to Bonkbot for sponsoring the stream. They're absolute legends. If you want to check them out, use the ref code that I showed earlier because it means that I might have done something. And that, you know, my advertising is actually working. And all that kind of wonderful stuff. And it helps me out. Liking the stream helps me out, all that kind of stuff. It's very kind. Yeah. I hope that you all have an absolutely wonderful week. I don't know what I'm going to do with the next streams. We'll see because, like I said, I'm in New York, it's birthday stuff and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully there's a ton of, if you've only just tuned in, there's a ton of educational stuff in this one. There's a ton of setup thoughts. There's a ton of how you can join this bull market. Do you know what I mean? Like, and get involved. There's so much opportunity out there. Just don't over risk. Protect your profits if you've made them. You know, think about both extremes. There's always more opportunities. You aren't going to catch everything. You know, you're not going to catch the best runner of every single day. Don't be too harsh on yourself. Just focus on the future, not the past. They're kind of the big lessons that I'm telling all of you, but also myself. So, I will love you and leave you. Have a wonderful Tuesday evening, and I will see you soon. Au revoir.